Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Brand with your girl Alicia. I am the host of Behind the Brand. Behind the Brand is a talk show where I interview entrepreneurs and content creators and discuss how to build a brand and who they are behind the business they run. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Today, our special guest is Teresa Howell. She is an author, podcaster, and CEO of TB Productions based in Atlanta, Georgia. Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad that you could join us. I'm so glad to, share with the world who you are and what you do. So,
Thanks for having me.
yes, you're welcome. So, my first question is, did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
No. Fresh out of high school, I thought I was going to be a doctor.
Okay.
And then I took one anatomy class and had to cut a fetal pig. And I recognized that that was not going to be my calling.
Okay.
And then I went into education. So my goal was to move up the ladder in school systems, which I did. I got all the way to the top, and then I said, this is not for me.
Okay. So where did you start? Like as a teacher?
Started as a special education teacher.
Okay.
Went all the way up to exceptional children, or as they call it in Georgia, SPED director. And it was just too much.
Yeah, I understand.
So yeah, I started writing books, and it took off from there.
Okay, how did you make that transition from education to entrepreneurship?
Well, I didn't fully, I'm still in education, so I didn't fully leave teaching, but I just knew that there was more to what I wanted to do. Writing became very therapeutic for me. I was going through some things with death in my family, so I used that as a way to grieve. And I didn't know that my books would get past my mother and my father. And before I knew it, my first book had like over 10,000 sales.
What? Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm onto something. So I continued to write, and kind of mastered my writing. Got some tutelage from some really big names in the writing industry. And then I said, when COVID hit, what was before COVID, I put the books into play form.
Oh, okay.
So I became a playwright. Yes. Started traveling with my play. Play became huge because the readers were following the play. And then COVID hit. So once COVID hit, I said, I gotta do something. And that's how the podcast and everything else came to light.
Oh, okay. So did you ever envision that you would be a writer / entrepreneur?
No, I thought I was going to be a backup singer for Janet Jackson.
Not for Janet Jackson, you knew the person and everything.
Yes, I was 19 years old. I had auditioned for Maurice Starr, who's the manager for New Edition back then, and he was looking for a girl group.
You was ready.
And I was ready, but my other peers didn't show up.
Oh.
It's only me and one other girl, a girl named Kathy. Other two,
they didn't show up.
Yeah, they kind of left us hanging, and he was like, come back when you're ready.
Okay.
So
that is cool. Well, that is exciting. So you started writing, and then that kind of led into everything. That is awesome as well. The next question I have is, how long did the process take from idea to when you released your first book?
It took about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, it took about a year because it took me a year to write the book because at first I didn't know what to write about. My mother-in-law at the time, she was the one that kind of unctioned me to do it because I was grieving so badly. She came to me and she said, God told me to tell you to write. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to be writing about?
It's always missing something.
Yeah, it's always missing something. So I'm like, okay, well, if he told you that, I didn't know what I'm supposed to be writing. But I did figure it out, and I did catch my niche from Christian fiction writing, and it just took off from there.
Oh yes, Christian fiction writing. That's the type of writer she is. So you started writing, then you said that you started a podcast. So how long did it take from you wanting to start a podcast to you actually starting one?
Well, there was someone that came in my LinkedIn box. They saw the plays, they saw the books, and they saw that I was connecting to a lot of people. So they suggested that I do this podcast. But I had envisioned the podcast like 3 years prior. I had a dream about it. And I had already made up a flyer and everything, had a name and everything. So when he came to me, it was just confirmation that, okay, yes, I need to go ahead and get this started.
Okay, what's your podcast called?
Amplified Exposure Live is my one podcast that I was talking to celebrities that were in literary works, music, film production, and theater.
Okay.
And I interviewed people such as like Matthew Knowles, the Jacksons, the Whispers, Chuck Rock, like a lot of big names in the music industry. And then I had another podcast called The Heat Seekers, and that was for indie artists only.
Okay.
But when Facebook came up with their little copyright thing, and like if you can't really play someone's music without that's the new thing that started this year. I had to do away with that show because it was on Facebook. Yeah,
and you were like trying to play music and stuff, and it wasn't gonna let you play it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I do still do Amplified Exposure Live every now and again when I get a guest. Now that it's not, like how COVID was, everybody in the house. It's kind of hard to really get celebrities to like sit down for a minute because they're trying to make up their money from what they lost from the pandemic. So
yeah, I see what you're saying. And so then you create a production company after your podcast.
No, the production company was created when I started doing the plays.
We started doing the plays. Okay. So the plays, how long did it take you from the plays until?
About a year.
Okay.
Yeah, about a year.
That sounds like your motto. A year, you're like, okay, I'm gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Okay, get it right, get it tight. Okay, so did you have, this is kind of early, but since we were talking about the pandemic and COVID and how you had to stop because all the laws and different things changed, did you have to kind of like pivot and switch from COVID? Did that affect you and what you were doing? Or do you feel like it was helpful for you?
Actually, COVID was helpful for me because people were sitting at home. So, celebs weren't doing anything. So it was easy to catch them. Now, I mean, you can barely find a PR person, more or less the celebrity themselves. So, it made my life much easier. I was able to do 8 seasons.
Oh, in 2020? Oh my gosh.
8 seasons, 15 episodes per season. Like, because, we were bored, we weren't doing anything.
That's true.
So I was doing shows like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like.
Okay, my girl's getting the content out there because I never did one season during 2020. Good job. Okay.
Yeah, I was determined that I was going to make use of this time.
That's true.
Because I had a feeling that when the world opened up,
it was not going to be able to happen. So that's true. That's actually a great takeaway that like you got to use what you got. You kind of got to take your time to advantage. Whatever time you get, you need to take it to your advantage. You need to use it. So if y'all are listening, take the time you have and use it to your advantage. So yes. I like that. So my next question is, what does success mean to you when it comes to entrepreneurship?
Well, most people think of success as being about money. Entrepreneurship, you are not getting rich right away. I can't say for everybody, but for the majority, it is a process that takes like a year before you start to really see the fruits of your labor. So success to me is not necessarily the money takeaway, but more so of the connections that I made.
Okay.
Because now, since the podcast and since the plays, I have a bigger following.
Okay. So it's more like the impact.
Yeah.
I like that. That was what I was thinking too as well. That's cool. Yeah, because sometimes you don't get paid as much as an entrepreneur as you think you do from Instagram. So my next question is, what's one great advice that you got when you started your business?
That's That's a good question. Probably to do my research because you know, entrepreneurship is about trial and error, and I made a lot of mistakes. And so one of my friends was like, you know, before you step in anything else, you know, look it up, Google, make sure that, you know, the laws are the right thing to, you know, you're doing copyright, you're doing trademarking, you're doing, you know, make sure you do it the right way. So probably research.
Okay, that's good. Because that is the hardest. My next question is, how do you balance family, work, and personal goals?
I don't.
Okay, you're the first one to say that. Okay. Well, how do you try?
I scramble around. I use sticky notes. I got sticky notes all in my bathroom, in my kitchen. It's very difficult because, you know, even while taping shows, you have children in the background. You know, I got to taping the show. You gotta be quiet, and they want your time. So, and then, you know, I'm single, so trying to date and trying to take care of a child and trying to do the whole business thing. And we forgot to talk about my magazines.
Oh, you did say you did.
Yeah, I forgot about the magazines. So I have a magazine called the Heat Seeker magazine, and I also have a magazine called the Educator.
Okay.
And I also have a magazine called Pod Stars. So those 3 magazines keep me very busy.
Okay, they definitely sound like they do.
They keep me very busy. I do have 9 other individuals that help me with editorials, which is a blessing, but it's still a lot of work. So yeah, so I just try to juggle with the best I know how.
So it's still a work in progress.
Yeah.
You're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, my next question is, how have you had to pivot in entrepreneurship, if you had to?
How do I pivot?
If you had to, like, something that you was like, this doesn't work, this didn't work, you try to switch it up.
Pretty much, most of the things that I've done have been like spiritual. Like, I've been really led by, I know, you know, maybe not everybody believes in what I believe in, but I have dreams, and God just tells me what to do.
In your dreams?
In my dreams, so I do it, and it comes into fruition.
Oh, that's good.
Right, so I never really had to make any drastic changes. It's just flowed, just like I was told in my dreams. So, a little intuitive, so I kind of know when to stop, when to go. You know, I'm not a Chloe, I'm not, you know, I'm a psychic. Okay, well, you know, I got some special gifts.
Okay. So that's good. Like, you haven't had to pivot because you felt like, well, since you're spiritual, you feel like your dreams and everything has been able to tell you when and where to go and how to move.
Exactly. Like if I can get an unction to stop, or I can get an unction to go. I can, you know. So there's also like some people say, like a little birdie in the back of my head saying, "Hey, maybe you need to do it this way. Maybe you need to do it that way." So I listen.
Okay.
It's worked for me.
Listen to your intuition. Okay,
yes.
So you don't have to pivot. What's been the most calculated risk that you have taken?
We spend a lot of money as entrepreneurs. You know, there's some days I had to eat oodles and noodles because I didn't have any extra money because I may have paid for a website, or I may have
They were not cheap.
right, I had paid for marketing or whatever I needed to do. But I always would take the risk. That's just who I am.
Yeah, that's good that you talked about your website and you talked about marketing. So, like, how important is it to invest in yourself in those things in order for your business to be able to grow?
Man, very important, very important. I mean, they have other tools now that you can use in case you didn't want to have a website. But for me, I needed a website. Like I needed to stream, because I have so many things going on at one time. So yeah, it's very important that you have something that people can grasp to or follow. Because just putting a post on Facebook is not going to do it. Or on Instagram, it's just not going to do it.
Okay, you gotta own your stuff.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Next question is, what is your morning routine?
So I still teach. I teach online.
Mm-hmm.
I get up at about 6:30. Start teaching class around 8:20.
Okay.
My day is normally over about 2:30, and I just get. It's okay. I hope it continues because with COVID clearing up, we might not have online school anymore. And then after that, I pretty much I have scheduled calls for like Sony orchard stuff, for indie artists that may want the distribution. I'm calling celebs to ask about the show or to be on the cover of the magazine. My son gets home about 4 o'clock and then go out and do something with him. Then I gotta put some workout somewhere in there. Okay. Maybe go to the gym. And then, you know, if I feel like writing, or if I feel like going out for a little bit, you know, it's pretty flexible because, you know, I kind of make my own calendar after 2:30, but it's whatever I want it to be.
So do you feel like it's very important to have a schedule as an entrepreneur, or do you like how you have the flexibility of like, I can do this one day, I can do this one day, or do you like, no, I need to do this day, do this the next day?
Well, I do create a schedule, but it's not like stuck in stone. I can change it whenever I want to. So if I have phone calls on Tuesdays and I wake up Tuesday morning and I just don't feel like talking, then I just send a notification, hey, can we reschedule this, whatever. So that's the good thing about entrepreneurship. Because you run your schedule.
And I also wanted to point out, the reason why I asked about like morning routines or times, because I feel like so much on social media, like you gotta get up at 5 o'clock, you gotta get up at 4:30, 5:30, and it's just like, you don't have to get up at that time, because Lord knows I don't get up at that time. So I just want people to see different ways to know how they can go about living, like, you know, you ain't gotta get up at 5 o'clock, and you ain't gotta stay until 2 o'clock in the morning, okay?
It's all up to you. Now, do I have my moments where I do stay up to 2 writing, whatever? Yeah, but that's my choice.
Yes.
Yeah, you make everything about your choice. You don't do it for it to stress you out.
You should do that. So my next question is, what is your why?
What is my why?
Why do you do things you do? Why do you write? Or why do you do, you know, your plays?
Well, I'm probably adult ADHD and I'm not diagnosed. I don't know. I get bored easily. So I try to do things to occupy my time to make sure that I grasp every single second of life. I had a professor in college that once said that you shouldn't sleep until you die. Because his attitude was, we don't have enough time to sleep in. You know, so that's kind of how I feel about it.
What? Sleep until you die? I don't know about that sleep until you die now. They be saying that you gotta sleep, you need about 8 hours, you know, you need to rest up on that, okay? You gotta get your rest of the next day.
A little bit of sleep.
Okay. I don't even get that much I don't even get 8 hours of sleep, but I'm just saying, get a little bit of sleep, okay? So my last question is, what should we look forward to next from you?
I have 5 books on ice that should be coming out. I can't say that they're coming out all this year because I ain't had time. I will continue to work with indie artists. I have one artist that is for sure going to the Grammys. She's doing excellent. She's #1 on the BSN Billboard list. And then I have more talk shows.
Okay. One book that's coming out this year?
4, maybe 5 books coming out this year.
Okay, well, some of the one we were talking about. Like, is that one for sure?
Yes, that one's for sure.
Yes.
I'm almost finished that one. That's Positive Vibes Only Dating.
Okay.
I have Positive Vibes Only 1, which was just like a 30-day affirmation, kind of get your day going. And this one is about positive affirmation for dating.
Okay.
Since I'm in the dating.
Oh yeah. Okay. Talking about it, writing about that's a lot. That's a lot with dating. Okay. I'm just gonna leave that on that side.
That's why that book is so thick.
Okay. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this interview. I hope you were able to share with the world something, you know, that they didn't know. So if they want to follow you, if they want to join and, you know, follow your journey, support you, order your books, how and where can they find you at?
All of my books are wherever books are sold. So if you look up Teresa B, or just type in Teresa B Howell, you can find my books. My website is tvproductions.org. If you're interested in music, if you're interested in book distribution, publishing, talk show, want to be on the talk show, want to be on the magazine, all of that is right there at my website. And then my social media handles is the host Teresa B on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yes, I like that, the host. I should add that to my name, the host. Yes, I like. If y'all enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Leave comments, leave questions, and catch us on the next episode. And you already know where to find me at Alicia's Adventures blog, okay, Facebook, and Instagram. Okay, thank you all so much. Hopefully y'all enjoy. See you next week.